Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. We have another gray, wintry day today, but nevertheless, it's a good Friday. And today is March 9th. And I was thinking to share with you a little bit about the history, the part of history that I remember. I thought it would be a good video to share some memories of actual 8th of March celebration, but also 23rd of February celebration, how it was in USSR. 23rd of February is a day when we are 23rd of February is a day where ladies congratulate men. Like, it's reverse. It's a reverse version of 8th of March. So basically it was a day of protector of a motherland. So, but all men from little to old would be, we would congratulate them and do some things for them. And I only remember things in school, because when I grew up, of course, no, actually that tradition did stay. So, but somehow I remember mostly things from school, and somehow my most vivid memory is actually from elementary to intermediate school. So I'm gonna start with 8th of March, how that was. So on the 8th of March, all the boys were preparing something for girls. And first of all, there were some uniformed gifts. You guys understand that there was a lack of things, and it was very kind of limited choices back then. And also not everybody had the money to do something big. So basically those were very uniformed gifts. Sometimes it would be like notepads for everybody. So all the girls would get the same gifts, like from the boys. It would be like the same, it would be notepads, or yeah, some kind of things for school, something like that. Honestly, most likely something very boring and very simple, but the whole idea was that everybody gets the same thing, so nobody is left out. I mean, we did like it, we did appreciate it, even if those were just very little things, because I mean, it was exciting. And our teachers, so we in elementary school up to intermediate, we would have one teacher. So this one teacher would lead us from the 1st grade to the 5th grade. And in my case, guys, I had the most gorgeous teacher you can imagine. I remember her. She could easily be a supermodel. She was a wonderful person. She was absolute. She was. I still remember vividly how she looked like, and she was very stylish. She knew how to be very attractive, but very elegant. She had this most amazing eyes. She kind of looked like a. Like they say, the compliment sometimes when people have like eyes like deer. She has this incredible velvet, like dark chocolate, beautiful eyes, and she was absolutely stunning. I could see her being a supermodel, honestly. She had such a personality, and she was just absolute knockout. And I remember being 6, and I did something, and she came super close to me, and she was saying something. And I remember, like, I'm about to lose my breath. But she was that breathtaking that I remember, that, this tells you that beauty, real beauty, applies to all the genders. So I'm definitely, no, my orientation has nothing to do with that. But she was so absolutely stunning that when she came came to me, I was crying for some reason, but when I saw her that close, like she literally took my breath away. That's just, I had those memories last night about the 8th of March. And yeah, she was just unbelievable. I wish we would have, it was like in 90s or something like that. I wish we would have the cameras and the selfies and things, but no. So anyways, everybody loved her. So on that day, on that day, when we had the celebration of 8th of March, she has this huge long desk, and this desk was going around the room, so it probably be about 3 meters, maybe 4 meters. It was a really big desk. And you know what? With all the struggles, with all the deficit, her desk was covered with all kinds of flowers, roses, tulips, some very specific spring flowers, candies, and a whole bunch of other things. Everybody loved her. It was absolutely amazing. It was, there was something in the air, there was something about it that I will never forget. And I was looking at her and I was thinking, how does she do it? Like, what's her secret? She got that magical something about her that women and men, absolutely everybody, adored her. And we had another teacher the next door. She had the same class. She was quite interesting too, and she was quite, I would say she was a little bit eccentric, and she got her recognition too from the kids. Of course, she got a lot, but nobody would get what this lady was getting. And I was her student for 5 years, so I remember that very well. But let's go back. I'm getting carried away. Let's go back to the event. So basically, that would be an event. All girls have to leave the room, the classroom. Boys are getting those little uniform gifts and put for every girl at their place. So I had very unique experience, and I felt like to share that. So in classroom we had a desk for 2 people. So I was sitting on at my desk. I had a guy who was sitting next to me. His name was Lyosha, Alexei, and he was really something. So I was a really good student, and he was really bad student. So I was doing the assignment, and he was singing the whole time. He had the thing, like I was writing the assignment, I was really, doing the work, and he was sitting and singing. Like he was singing the Russian rock music. I think we were about 9 or 10 at that moment. So he was singing all this rock music songs. I don't know if you guys know Victor Tsoi, but he is amazing, and he had the voice for it. And so listen to this. So for the 30 minutes he would be singing, and then in the end of the class assignment he would copy everything from my copybook, from what I wrote, and I would get maybe an A or B, and he would get C. And this is how that relationship was working. But somehow, well, first of all, he had really amazing eyes. Like that was something that I have to say, I still remember that his eyes were just incredible. But the second thing was that somehow we didn't have a conflict, because I think there was a part of me that liked that he was singing for me. And there was this part of me that was mad that he's copying from my copybook. But somehow we did have a great relationship, except I was convinced that he doesn't like me because he would pull my hair sometimes, and he would tease my last name. Yes, Dave. Eyes as a gateway to the soul. So he was teasing me. He would always tease my real last name. He was always put some extra letters and tease it. And he was just, he was just a bad, like a classic bad boy. But he did something absolutely courageous when 3 8th of March in a row, when we were in the same class with him, he did something absolutely mind-blowing, if you ask me. So as a class, we all went away. We come back, get our same gifts for everybody, and I was just sitting there, and all of a sudden he opened a drawer and he had special gift. He had one time it was the cutest little, like, stuffed animal puppy. It was black, a little black cute puffy black toy. It was, I don't know about this big, and it was so adorable. And the thing is, as again, his parents were doing something extra, because we didn't have very many things available, but he was in a little bit better position, and it was so courageous of him to do that. And he gave me this toy like under the desk, and he was like, "This is for you, hide it real quick," because he was afraid to be judged and maybe make laugh at. He didn't want the other boys like laughing at him, that he made something special. But I can tell you guys, that was one of the most amazing moments in my that I remember in my childhood, because he made me feel so special. No, it was a plush toy. It was a plush toy. So, when you that tells you something. When you aren't expecting for something, when you don't have a lot, and when somebody puts thought to it, and it's something so, like, you can feel it. It's like a symbol, Thank you, Gino. It's kind of like a symbol, and it was absolutely unexpected, and it absolutely mind-blowing. Isn't it crazy that somebody gave me a plush toy is mind-blowing? But in those circumstances, in that politics, in that uniformed community, and just being a kid, not having your own money, but I guess he probably asked his parents to get something special for me. Yeah, he was very cute, I have to say. He was great. He was very very boyish, but that was just, one of those things that all these years later, they're just incredible. There's something that always burst your spirit, and it just was so innocent and sweet. And then the other time, I think the year after or before, he gave me Alice in a Wonderland, beautiful book. And then I remember when I was 12 or something like that, he gave me a little brooch. It was very special. It was absolutely it's a combination, like, of a surprise, of something unexpected, and some kind of miracle. When you don't have very much, guys, and something like this happened, you feel like you have wings, you feel beautiful. Number one thing, guys, I felt special and I felt beautiful. He put thought to it. He took courage. It's very hard for a boy that age to stand out. But he also told me, though, when he gave me that little brooch, it was like a silver brooch with some flowers. He also, he gave it to me. He was so funny. He said, "Okay, now hide it real fast," because he was I bet that he was shy, but his courage was what really I just want to tell you guys, I wasn't a popular girl. I was a girl that works hard. I was a girl that was extremely shy. I would only come out with you know, I felt like a little woman. That was so beautiful because I felt like a little lady. And you know, all the pretty girls in class and all the special girls in class, I don't remember, you know how you compare yourself and you always think, you know, you are, you know, nothing so special. And we had some popular girls. I was definitely not the popular girl in the middle school for sure. And in elementary school too. I was extremely shy. It was almost crippling. Like I had this thing where, you're not gonna believe me, guys, because you listen to my talks, but I wouldn't talk. So when the teacher would ask me things and questions, very often I'd be totally on mute. So, but I was an A student. I just had something that they call selective muteness. So when I was with my friends playing in the yard, I would be the leader and I would be having a blast. But in school, I didn't quite feel so comfortable, and I was extremely quiet and very, very shy and very, very, in some ways insecure. Kind of all kinds of things were happening in my family, so I was just very kind of, I don't even know how to put it into words. But this guy, he was like a real guy, you know. He was for the kid, you know. He was when he could, he would brighten up my day, and he wouldn't tell me that he likes me, but he would do actions and he would create the mood where I would feel that there is something going on. And this is the reason, guys, I want to... No, he wasn't a player. He was a great kid. He knew I was way more advanced in academics than he was, and he was making his way around it, but we became really good friends. And what I want to tell you guys, it's real easy to stand out. It's not that hard, because basically in our life, in our patterns, yes, it's not USSR time, and we have more than notepads, that paper notepads to give to each other. But if you want to stand out, if you want to be memorable, it's not that hard. You just need to put thought to it and take an action. It's not that hard. Nowadays, in this current world, doing something out of the box isn't that hard, because everybody is taking the shortcut. Everybody says, I wish, I almost did that, I almost thought of this, I would've, I kinda, or I'll text you some flowers, or I think about this later. No, when you are the guy, when you are the man, you take pride in yourself. You know how to stand out. You just need to be a couple steps above, and that is a great experience for you first, because you explore. You explore your own self. You create the man you always want to be. And I can tell you that Alyosha, my desk partner, he was awesome. He was awesome. I did feel, when I was around him, I did feel special. But that very first time when he gave me that gift, I just almost lost it. I was so overwhelmed with excitement and happiness. I can't even put it into words. So it made me feel very special, and every year I would feel very special. Somehow I was not expecting that. I remember that every year on 8th of March it would be a huge surprise. I remember 3 of them, and they meant a lot. It was really something. And now I want to say a couple words about the February 23rd, when we would do something for the boys. So it would be the same thing. the boys would have to leave the room, and we would have some gifts for the boys. It also would be some school things, or some cards, some notepads, maybe some pens and pencils. Sorry, maybe some coloring stuff, and it would be the same thing. And so, but sometimes also some girls would have something special for the boys. So that was always fun to see that, okay, everybody got a regular gift, that was planned by the teacher, but then some of the boys would get something else. Maybe somebody would bring like some chocolate or cookies, or other way around. But again, we were so limited, we had so little of things back then, that anything special was standing out. I was just thinking, if one day somebody would somebody special would give me a vehicle as a gift, it probably would not strike me as much as that little plush toy, just because of being so unexpected, and just because I can get myself, I don't even know what it is. I think now, as a grown person, I value people and the impact they bring to my life. I don't really I enjoy the gifts, but on my dream list I have mostly experiences. So to compare with that, it just has to be some experiences that I can share with people I love. I think that would probably be compared with a plush toy. Probably not anything material, because it was just like this burst of emotion. And I've tried to find him, but he has very popular first name and last name that I couldn't really find him on the internet. So yeah, I just want to tell you guys that story. I have a little car, Eric. I don't really dream about those things that way. It's just really strange. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you're supposed to evolve with time. So I just want to tell you guys, growing up in USSR, in some ways it was a challenge. In some ways it was a lot of struggle. In some ways, but in some ways it was awesome. In some ways it was awesome because our hearts were open, our eyes were open, our minds were open. We enjoyed the community a lot more. We played with each other outside, like every day. Every day we would play all kinds of games, and yeah, I remember just going outside and playing, like it was a gang. Like we just, all the neighborhood kids, we would just run around and do all kinds of things. I was more of a like, how you say this, tomboy, or yes, I think, yeah, we were just covered in mud and doing all kinds of things like that. It was fun. It was really fun. And right now, things are changing even in Ukraine, and kids are on these devices and all kinds of things. Yeah, the 90s. That's right, Drew. that was awesomeness. And then I remember, I think it was mid-90s, and one of our neighbors had a video VHS. It was like out of our world. Somebody in our yard had a VHS. So the cassette movie player, and I remember they had a bunk, two level beds, and we would run in there with our kids. It was my friend Andrew, Andrei, and his mom would let us come and watch Tom and Jerry and something else, some Disney movies, and that was just out of this world experience. It just really was. I just had all these memories yesterday, last night, when I finally had the time to sit down. And I think when I was 12, my dad took me to see Snow White, to the theater, like movie theater. That was also something out of this world. Yeah. Drew is saying, I'm 27 and I remember when I was about, when I guess he got a VHS set, yeah, and he was about 6, yeah. Well, we got them late because, you know, we didn't have access to all these things, but we had somebody in our yard, kind of neighborhood kids that have it. It was like miracle. It was like nobody even heard about that, because that was, I don't know how they got it, because it was a time of deficit for any import. But I remember how excited we were to, and how his mom was so wonderful. His mom was a doctor, and you know, she would make us some little meal, like, and we would sit, like, I don't know how many of us, maybe like 15. We would sit on those two-level beds, and we would just sit there, and we would be like, wow, it was awesome. So, you know, guys, what I want to say, another thought today is, sometimes when you have a little less of something, is not such a bad thing. It really makes you open for the feelings of appreciation. You really feel the great contrast when something beautiful knocks on your door, when something just makes your day, and it's just something I wanted to share with you, that on February 23rd, it was day when we would congratulate men, all the men, little boys, and, you know, big men and older guys, because they were, you know, some of them were in the war, like our grandpas. And then 8th of March, it would be for all the women, and it was something we would always wait for. Yeah. It was something that we were always waiting for. So it's not just like a made-up holiday. It has a long history, and I do like that it was both, one for the boys, and another one for the girls. I think it's really nice that boys had also their day of appreciation. So it's kind of was day of our protectors. Like I said, protector of the motherland day, and I love it, because I think sometimes men don't get enough of appreciation, but if you ask me, we feel protected when you know, we have men around us. Hopefully they never do need to protect us in terms of you know, stand there, you know, and fight with guns, but in the case of emergency, or just in some life situations, I think it's great that on February 23rd we do have that day where we have appreciation of men. Yeah, I can imagine that would be popular in US. I don't know. Well, you have Father's Day, so that's pretty sweet. I don't know if we barely have Mother's Day. They're trying to kind of force it now, but because we have 8th of March, it's kind of too hard to add Mother's Day. Not sure if we have Father's Day, but I absolutely love that US has Father's Day, because fathers are awesome. Aaron, well, I'm about to get done today. It's great to see you in my classroom. When you have a minute, you can watch the story. I was just sharing my childhood. It's a USSR story time. And I want to acknowledge everybody. When I begin the live, I decided to just go with the live. So I'm saying hi to everybody. Jean, Dave. Dave made my day special yesterday. So I love it and appreciate it. And you guys, I have to say, you actually, all of you, your impact and your feedback and your connection and your engagement does make my day. It's always an exchange. So it's always, I always feel the energy exchange. It's not one-sided. So I appreciate all of you. So everybody, yeah, I will have some more stories because I feel like, yes, there are challenges and there are some, things that are we got to learn, and I like the motivational and philosophical things, but maybe sharing with you some more things that I still caught and remembered from the Soviet era or early times after that was gone. It's kind of a unique perspective, and I just want you to know how it was. But nevertheless, we were pretty happy. Yeah, exactly. I felt that I should share it because it's almost like a different world. Even for Ukraine, even for Russia, those things that I still caught a little bit, they're gone. JC is saying, the USSR sounds like it was a different world almost. That's exactly true. It was a different world. There were good things in our childhood. There were bad things. So I will make some more videos about the stories. I have endless stories, but I just want you to be able to imagine, what's your girlfriend or your future wife, or just in general, what people who lived in USSR, like what they came through, and at least a little bit of the feeling of it. I'm not talking about the politics, what's wrong or right. I'm talking about regular people and their regular lives. One last thing I say today, I remember on 8th of March, something awesome also, is that, in our apartments, our doors, we would never lock our doors. And so people would merge, like people were merging from one apartment to another. Okay, I have apple pie, you have white cheesecake. So it would be merging, and if one neighbor makes something tasty, this neighbor just comes to another neighbor and shares. That was so sweet. And I remember sometimes like sitting with my mom and thinking, okay, what we're gonna have for tea today? Because we have custom drinking tea with some kind of pastry, and I'm like, man, we don't really have anything. And here, knock on the door, the neighbor brought some pastries that she just made, and then another day we make the pastry and we knock on our door. I actually remember some random kids coming to, well, it's a different sense of community, Drew. This is how we grew up. We were very, very strong community. Thank you, John. We were a very strong community, and US is the opposite. US is the individuals thing. It's a personal individuals thing. In USSR, it was a community. Community was everything. So it's a total different world. It's opposites. But there were positive things about having a strong community, there was a lot of positive things. So yes, I actually remember some random kids coming to our breakfast and eating pancakes. They would just come in and say, well, nobody cooked in our house, and they were so cute. They were a bit younger than I am. They had these puffy cheeks. And I would just say, come in. And they would come, and my mom would make pancakes, and they would eat pancakes and leave. It was just cute. Yeah, it was a culture of sharing, It was, guys, my son is going now to school, and it's total opposite to what I had experienced, because in our culture we shared. In US culture, it's everything's personal. Don't share your lunch, don't hug, don't do this, don't do that. It's like don't give, don't exchange gifts. Like everything is so controlled, and there are such a big borders between people.
So, we hug. We
you
have
can share
relationships with our neighbors. It's not like we're completely individual.
Yeah, but you can
My
share.
mom is giving you the wrong idea again. Oh my God, report.
Ruslan, but you can share food, remember?
You can't share food only because of allergies.
Yeah. Are you sure?
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Well,
As far as our school is concerned.
my son is, as usually, very supportive. I love him. Well, actually, you have the rule that keep life interruption. Yes, keep the hands for yourself. You have that, and then you can share food because of allergies. But we also had allergies. We share the hell of our food. I'd be the one of the random kids to come to your house and have breakfast. Yeah, we were sharing everything. That's why.
Well, I bet disease was 2 times as high
No, actually.
as the U.S.
Oh my gosh.
Just get angry when she talks about how bad the U.S.
I'm not saying that US is bad. I'm just sharing my experience. Okay, guys, I guess that was a good life. We actually have to go and hop in the car before the traffic kicks in. So I wish you a wonderful Friday. I just felt like having a talk and sharing with you. I hope it made you laugh at the very least. Thank you, Dave, Glenn, Eric, everybody else. By the way, this coming week on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll have our VIP members Zoom call. We're going to have a lot of fun. I will post the topics in a private group. So guys, I hope my VIP members, I will see you on Wednesday nights. And I'm currently working on the packages for the July trip. So if somebody wants to join us for adventure in July, let me know. And thank you, Greg and Eric. I will see you all very soon.